let me know. Next up, I hated this movie, but I also kind of liked it. It's weird, but Nightmare Weekend. Had never watched this. I mean, look at that cover art. That just screams that this is going to be awesome. This movie is not awesome. This movie is terrible. Like, I just don't understand. From everything from the little puppet that actually runs the computer like a hand puppet, I don't get it. I know it's a trauma release, and this one was put out by Vinegar Syndrome, but it's, I guess some people would say it's one of those so bad it's good movies, but it's just bad. I mean, I thought this movie was so bad. I mean, it's worth a watch, I guess, just to see how bad it is. The plot makes no sense to me at all, and it had a couple good effect shots and stuff, but yeah, this movie was crazy, man. I don't know. But anyway, it's whatever. So next up, watch this one every year. Roseanne's Tricks and Treats. If you love TV Halloween specials, these are the best. You can't beat Roseanne. It's got all those episodes there, and I watched all of them. The only one that's kind of weird is the last one, which is Satan Darling. It's kind of a remake of Rosemary's Baby, but it doesn't really have that Halloween feel like the other ones. It's still a good episode, but of course the first one, Boo and Trick or Treat, I mean, they're all so good, and I have so much fun watching this every year. And this is like a cheap $5 release, and it's one of my favorite things in my collection. I just really, really love the Roseanne episodes, so check those out. It's got, I believe, 8. Did I say that? It's got 8 episodes, yep, on there. Really good stuff. So next up, watched a really cool documentary that I'd never seen. Had it in my collection for a while, and that is Going to Pieces, the rise and fall of the slasher film. And I really don't know why it's the fall of the slasher film, because I feel like we still have some good slashers coming out. But this is kind of an older release. I forget when it came out, 2006. So, but it's got interviews with like Rob Zombie and Wes Craven and lots of people, Tom Savini, lots of people from, you know, the horror world. John Carpenter's on here as well. But it really intuitive documentary, and it's well done, and I enjoyed it. It was a fun watch, and it's got a good runtime. It's like 88 minutes, so it's not too long, and talks about a lot of slashers, where they came from. You know, I know they interview a lot of the directors from different movies like Friday the 13th and Prom Night and, you know, all that stuff. And it's interesting just to hear about how slasher movies, you know, one of the most interesting things, which if you've seen anything on Friday the 13th, has always been that, you know, they developed like the idea and the poster first, and then it turned into a movie. I think that's so cool, because that's kind of how I operate, because I've got a creative brain, and I kind of come up with ideas first and then flesh them all out. I'm a youth pastor, so I do a lot of different creative type things with students and stuff. So, but anyway, this one is good. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. I recommend buying it. I'd watch it again. Next one, and this one I'm probably going to get some serious hate over, but had never seen Black Sabbath with Boris Karloff. I love Mario Bava, and it's kind of an anthology film, or it is an anthology film with some different stories, and I believe there's 3, if I can remember. The Telephone, The Word of Lack, and A Drop of Water. My favorite was probably, I don't know, probably A Drop of Water, where the lady steals the ring off the corpse. That had some really creepy elements and stuff in it, but I could not get into this. I mean, I liked that one. It was okay, and the Telephone one, and I really didn't understand the Word of Lack, which was like a take on a vampire tale. It was just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I liked the interludes with, or the, you know, in between deals with Boris Karloff, like kind of narrating. But I know this is probably a classic to most people, and it's Bava. I know a lot of people like them, but I just couldn't get into this. I mean, it's not terrible by any means. It just wasn't something I get into. But anyway, I did like one of the segments on there. Next up, this one was a big surprise to me, and it's been out for a while and I hadn't watched it, and that was Hangman. This is one of the best found footage type movies I've seen. It says inspired by true events. I don't know. I have to research that, because this would be crazy if this was true. But basically about a voyeuristic type killer who, you know, while people are on vacation, he sneaks into their house and sets up a bunch of cameras, then stays in the attic while they're there. And when they come home, he just kind of starts messing with them and wreaking havoc. But really creepy, really creepy, creeped me out. So, but I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'd watch it again, and I highly recommend it. So, if you've seen it, let me know what you think. So, next up, best of the bunch, probably for me, and that is The Neon Demon. This movie is fantastic. I loved it so much. I watched it twice in a row. Watched it again right after because it was so good. And this is an awesome release. This movie is beautiful. I've already downloaded the soundtrack because the soundtrack is amazing. It's one of those, I guess you're either going to love this movie or you're going to hate it. I don't think there's any in between on it. And I know I was talking to my friend on here, Opie0909, Jeremy, if you don't follow him. He's a big fan of Nicholas, I always say his name wrong, but Winding Refn, the director who did like Drive and Only God Forgives, which I love all those movies. And Opie's a huge Drive fan, and you should go check out his channel because he has like a awesome collection of all the Drive films, like steelbooks and foreign releases and stuff. Awesome. So, but this movie I cannot recommend enough. I think that most people who are in this community would like this, but so good, man. It is just like watching a living piece of art on screen, and the ending is crazy. Like the last 20 minutes, I loved everything about this. I don't have one criticism. I would watch it over and over. And it kind of reminded me, it had the same feel for me as Black Swan, which I'm a huge fan of Black Swan. When it came out, I was kind of mesmerized by that movie. And not that it's the same type of film. It is kind of psychological horror in a way, and then straight up horror in a way. But, it gave me that same feeling, and I really enjoyed this. This is one of my favorite movies I've seen this year so far. So glad I watched it. Wish I could have gotten to see it in the theater. But I think that's it, guys. That's all I've watched. I did watch a few YouTube. It's fun to go on there sometimes and look up, just type in like horror short films, because there's so many short films out there that are really good. I did watch a couple of those on YouTube. I watched one called Super that I highly recommend, another one called Deep Six. Both were really, really cool. So check some of those out. And yeah, I highly recommend going on YouTube and, just typing in and searching for horror films that are short films. I think one of these was like 10 minutes. The other was like 2 or 3 minutes. So they're really short, but really good. It's amazing how much you can do in a short amount of time. So, which a lot of movies suffer from that, obviously. So, but guys, that's it so far for my Halloween Horrorthon. I'm going to keep watching movies, and I look forward to making another video, hopefully this next week after I watch some more stuff. And I'd love to know what you guys are watching. What have you seen lately? Let me know, and let me know what you think of these movies as well. But please like it, give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe if you haven't. And as always, hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Peace.